What's up, everyone? We're here for another episode of the Tom Hayden Show. I'm so excited for this one. Got a friend, good friend Brian Youm, and
Hello, hello.
he's just an awesome person to talk to. So, I'm so excited to talk to you, man. So I'm gonna keep this intro short and sweet. Uh, if you don't mind, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you first
Uh,
got into Pokemon.
so my name is Brian Youm. I go by Donghun Youm now, which is my legal name.
Donghun.
Because Brian's a pretty basic name. But I first got into VGC because I actually went to Worlds 2014 as a spectator because
Okay.
it was like pretty nearby me. I think it was in DC. So I watched the match first of like Sajin versus Jody, are two people that inspire me a lot. They're two good friends of mine, and like I just like got into VGC like after that, and I got to meet my friend Grant Weldon or Velocity VGC and started to like expand my sites more into VGC. And 2016 Doswell Regionals was my first ever regional, which I ended up like top fouring. I think I don't remember too much because it was like a decade ago, pretty much. But yeah,
Wow.
that's
It was
when I
basically a
started.
decade ago.
Yeah, pretty much like 10 years ago at this point. But yeah, I started then and I just like kept playing and playing and took a little break after 2019 year because like Dynamax didn't click with me and I just wasn't liking Pokemon back then. So I just took a 3 year break, came back and somehow managed to win a regional, which is like pretty cool.
What was the first Pokemon game you played?
I think the first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Pearl. That's the game I actually got for my sixth birthday when I was living in Korea. That's how I actually got into the concept of like Pokemon gaming in general. I used to play that for like hours every day, man. The game was crazy.
And how do you, as a white, I always get scared pronouncing names I don't know off the top. Donghun, how do you pronounce your first name? Just so I know and you can tell everyone listening too.
It's just Donghun. That's how like Korean
Donghun.
like spelling is. Like Donghun is perfectly fine because
I
I know
don't
it's a
want to pronounce it wrong.
don't worry about it. Like Korean to English, like translation doesn't really end up doing the best. So it's like, as long as you can pronounce it like remotely fine, I'm okay with it.
All right, that's good to know. That's good to know because, dude,
Yes,
I
sir.
have an easy name to pronounce, so I've never experienced that. But I could imagine it's kind of annoying, if you always have to correct people for your name.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I managed to go by Brian for a little while. Cause like when I was going to like school and stuff like that, when I first moved to America, I had to like deal with like substitute teachers and teachers like botching my name every time. So I was like, what's the most common like name in America? And Brian just popped up to me. So I was like, let's just go with Brian. And that's
Nice,
how I just
nice.
like, stuck with it.
When did you move to America, if you don't mind me asking? That wasn't on
Uh,
our
I
docket.
actually I actually moved to America in like 2013ish, I'm pretty sure. Like right after my fifth grade ended in Korea, I moved to America right away.
Wow, okay. And did you speak English at that point, or did you learn English when you came to this country?
So like Korean like society has a very big work ethic and needing to learn English. So I actually was like very capable of speaking English and stuff like that, thankfully. So it wasn't too bad. I think the worst part about moving to America is having to learn a completely new metric system, like feet, inches, like stuff like that. Like I don't know, man. Those things like trip me up for like at least 2 years because like it's completely different from what I know outside of like this country.
And it makes little sense too if you're not familiar with it. So if you're familiar with the other system, it's hard to convert.
Yeah, it
Oh,
really.
that's really cool though. I actually had a friend, my roommate in California. His best friend grew up in Korea with a Japanese mother, so he
Hmm.
knew Korean, Japanese, and English. And then he went to high school in China and learned fluent Chinese too. But I think English was like his fourth language, and
Hmm.
I can't imagine that. I always used to ask him, "What language do you dream in?" And that was cool. As an English only speaker, like I've only ever dreamt and thought in English. Do you dream or think in Korean still, or do you mostly think and dream in English?
I do a mix of both, pretty much.
So
Like,
cool. That's so
yeah,
cool
I
to
just
me.
yeah, like just getting to know another language helps you like just think in a different like language. Sometimes, like I think in Korean when I talk to Korean friends, and I think in English when I talk to English friends. So it's like, or I can just use both at the same time. I don't know. It's just like my brain activating and just doing its own thing.
See, again, as someone who only speaks one language, it's really cool to me. So I'm glad we pulled that thread a little bit and talked a little bit about more of your personal background. But
Hmm.
so when you first transitioned from playing Pokemon Pro casually, how did you learn EVs and IVs and get into the competitive side of it and get as good as you did?
So I actually, before getting into VGC, I actually played a little bit of like the standard Smogon tiers, like OU and stuff like that.
I'm
So I was
very
very
familiar with
aware of
those. Okay.
I was very aware of like the what EV spreads and stuff. I like specific IVs and stuff did. Also, shout out to my friend Grant Weldon again for helping me actually learn the concept. But yeah, because of knowing that, I was able to like manage like I was able to get through it through my early years pretty well because I knew like what the EV spreads did and like what specific numbers I could use to lip certain attacks from like just learning from smoke and stuff. And I also watched like Pokemon and our people back then, which also helped me just figure out the EV spreads, IV spreads, stuff like that too.
I feel like that's one of the biggest barriers for entry, understanding EVs and IVs. And I was blessed to have a friend teach me that. And then once you
Hmm.
understand that, it becomes a lot easier. But back in the days you were playing, what was a console and game the first competitive event you went to?
We were just using the Nintendo 3DS, I think, and we were playing. I think we were my first ever event. It was X. No, it was ORAS. I'm pretty sure. So we were using just the 3DS, and like we're we were doing the silly primal gaming, Groudon Zernia stuff.
Okay. And how do you do if you don't? Do you remember what event that was?
Yeah, the standard Docile Regionals 2016 was my first ever regional in 2016, and I hit up like a few more locals. Like we didn't actually transition into the Switch era until Sword and Shield came out. So like Nintendo 3DS is very convenient. Like I kind of miss playing on the 3DS these
Really?
days. Yeah. It's like so portable, man. You can just carry it around anywhere. But the Switch is like kind of big and annoying, and you can't fold it. You have to carry around like a case specifically built for it. The charger is also very specific, so I don't really like the Switch too much.
Oh, that's actually really interesting because I've only played competitively on the Switch. I had a 3DS. I played casually with my friends, and like I would play
Hmm.
through the games, put it down. Never really played competitively. I never really had to build a team, but I loved Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. That was my favorite game, like ever when it first came out. Because the last Pokemon game I played before that was Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. It was like way in the
The
back, and it was super nostalgic. But
Yeah, this nostalgia just hits you pretty hard, huh? Like I played Ruby and Sapphire on my old phone ROM hack, I think, like in 2015 ish, because I was boarding classes. But getting to actually play through the experience again was very fun,
yeah, you're a kid compared to me. I played Ruby Sapphire when they first came out, and I was in middle school on the
bro.
Game
That's
Boy
like
Advance.
that's
Yeah,
like
my
old.
30th birthday is this year. Yeah,
Jesus Christ, I feel like a
yeah, I'm an old
baby. I'm
man.
only 22 right now, man.
Dude, so many of you VGC cats are young. I feel like the old man, but I'm glad I got into this hobby. It's a really cool hobby to get into. And
I
like,
mean, the ageism doesn't matter when you're just doing to play your favorite hobby, you know.
look at Nino. He's 74.
True, Nino's actually 84, actually.
Dead. He's born in the 1920s. I say that, and you think of the 1990s, probably like the 1920s.
Yes, is 19. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's old.
yeah.
Bro was
Oh
like
no.
100 years old.
Shout out Nino. I love him. Oh my god, it's so funny though.
Shout out to Joel for being old.
I remember the first time I met his son, I was like, "Damn, your son's old. How old are you?" But besides that, what was the first live event you had success at? What was the first live event where you were like, "Oh my god, this is really cool"?
I went to a premiere challenge right after the 2016 season started.
Okay.
Like first time I went to a premiere challenge, I got booty bopped. I went 0-4 drop, dude. I was like,
Booty
what's
pop.
going on here? And then after that, I ended up getting like top four and another one. Like it was a seniors one, so there were like only six people. But still being able to get like championship points and actually like doing kind of well was like, yo, this is really fun, not gonna lie. So after that, I just kept going for more and more and more. And I just ended up like just doing pretty well, I guess.
You said
More
seniors one. Did they
consistency.
separate the age groups back then?
Yeah, they still separated the age groups back then. I think they were like separating It's like a long, long time ago, probably like 2013 ish,
No, I
or
feel like
even
when
longer.
seniors and juniors show up to locals now, we'll play with them. Like
I mean, the thing is, like the back then in 2015 ish, like in 2016 ish, we actually had enough seniors to separate it by divisions. We at least had like eight people for like seniors and juniors each. So we actually got to play separately.
you don't see that anymore, which is kind of sad, I guess.
Yeah, no, we don't see that anymore. I feel like a lot of the Pokemon people grew up into their like seniors and masters age, and a lot of the new kids in the block are probably playing like Fortnite and like other stuff like that instead of Pokemon,
I love
which I
Fortnite
don't blame
too.
them.
Yeah.
I don't play Fortnite. I might eventually. I don't know.
I used to work at a boys and girls club when Fortnite first came out, and I logged into
hmm
the PS4s on my PlayStation, the Fortnite account, and they would unlock all the Battle Pass rewards for me. So that was awesome. So I have all the old stuff on my thing, which people are like, "Wait, how do you have that?" Really cool. But
Yeah.
dude, get back to Pokemon. I get so distracted. What other games do you play other than Pokemon? Actually,
The my favorite game is Final Fantasy VII. Like, it's
shout
a
out
very
Jin
my
Fury.
favorite.
Jin Fury has a
Shut
big
up.
sword on his in his room on top of his computer.
Let me show you something then.
Can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see this.
I have a
Yeah, it's the same one. Yes, that
I have
one.
a full size Buster Sword.
Yeah, he had the same thing. It's the same size. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I bought it for myself after I graduated high school because like
You
Final Fantasy
deserve it.
Seven is amazing. It was
Tell
only
me
three
about
hundred
that
bucks,
game.
which wasn't too bad.
I don't know much about. I don't know shit about fuck. Tell me about the game as someone who doesn't know shit about fuck.
So Final Fantasy VII is an amazing RPG game, but like the new version that recently came out, which I talked to Jane Fury a lot about, is more of a battle style game. Like instead of RPG, it's just like beat 'em up. Like you can choose your actions, spells, and stuff like that instead of taking turns by turns. And I enjoyed that version a lot more. And after I played like the seven and the most recent remake, I was like, damn, I love this game.
How often do you
You should
play?
definitely play it.
All right, how
Hmm?
often do you split your time between that, other games, and Pokemon?
I actually just like ladder like 1 hour a day. Honestly, that's like enough for me to like at least say, hey, I still got it. I'm not forced to like practice 100 games a day for no reason when I can just like three best of threes and just like, hey, I still got it. Or this is an area I need to work on more, and then I can play other games, focus on college stuff, like whatever. I've been streaming a lot recently,
I
which is helping
know.
me practice a lot more. But like normally before streaming, I only did like 1 hour practice per day. I never really necessarily had a reason to practice too hard, I guess.
Your goals as a streamer are so genuine. I saw you tweet out you just want to be someone's favorite streamer. And like that's such a genuine goal to have. That's such a cool goal. And I'm sure you're already achieving that when you start streaming. But what made you take that leap? Because that is a big leap to take.
So I was always interested in like making YouTube videos and streaming before because I was like, this is kind of fun, building your own audience, building your own community, and like making something out of yourself from like zero to like hero. So it's like
Allison
a
is
lot
very
of my
funny.
friends are streamers. Like my friend Courtney used to be a streamer. My
She's
friend Hasty,
awesome.
yeah, she's awesome. My friend
Hasty
Hasty
is
is a
too.
streamer.
She's live right now.
Jody, yeah, she is doing a subathon right now. But
Yeah.
Jody is becoming a streamer, and he's like amazing.
So
Like,
cool.
and my RL friend Steve, he appeared in one of my streams one time. Is also like a kind of a streamer. So I'm like, hey, like, I kind of want to do this. Like, I'm not really the best socially, but I want to like improve on how to just like be more myself around people
You're
and just
so
like
cool
work towards
socially.
becoming somebody.
I
So
want
it's
you to
like,
know you're one of my favorite people to see at events.
oh,
You
thank
know,
you so much, man.
yeah, like
Same goes for you.
don't care socially, you're awesome, man. You know?
I
I
try
want
my best. My social battery isn't the best, though, unfortunately.
that's why I sneak out and smoke pot at events. I'm like, I need to reset this time. It's like I can't always be around this many people. It's like stimulation overload. There's too much going
Yeah.
on, there's too many noises, there's too much conversations I have to keep up with while also trying to do well in a tournament that I care about.
Yeah, it's a very big stimulation overload. But yeah, after like my friends are talking to me about it, I'm like, I kind of want to do this. So my friend Jody, Courtney, Hasty, and like Steve, and a lot of people that I know actually have been helping me with streaming stuff. Like I don't have any fancy graphics or stuff like that, but like I've been still doing my best to like create myself as a character that people can like just like talk to as a person instead of like being like a someone on a pedestal. I guess I'm just like a goofy guy trying to have fun on a stream, you know?
Dude, oh my god, and it's so much fun communicating with the Twitch chat. I can't wait till I like be live and I'm like, oh, I'm looking for a Twitch stream to watch. Because usually, what's it called? When you've been live, I've been either streaming or doing something else. Like, damn, I can't tune in. So I can't wait to tune into the first stream, like that I'm able to watch of yours. I'm very excited about that because I saw one
I'm gonna
screenshot.
I'm gonna try to make like a schedule pretty soon instead of like abruptly streaming out of nowhere because like because of classes and other stuff, I haven't really had the most stable schedule per se. So it's like I want to like make my schedule more linear so I can start streaming more frequently and like have an actual schedule instead of abrupt ones.
I would say do whatever works for you, and then just starting out, see how it feels, and don't lock yourself in and commit to stuff you can't do. Don't bite off more than you can chew is always something I like to
Yeah, of
always
course. Like
personally.
considering I'm still in college, I just don't want to
Exactly.
overdo it.
Focus on doing well in school. What's your major?
My major is criminology.
Let's go. Okay. That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. Dude,
hmm
fuck yeah. And then all right, so we talked about a little bit of Pokemon stuff. We talked about what made you what was the most I guess can we talk about your regional finishes before the break and why you took a
Yeah, of
break? Like
course.
what was your regional finishes like before that break? Like were you seeing a lot of success back then? I should have done a little bit more research. I know you were like
So
really good.
I like when I first became a master, I top 16 my first ever regional, and back then we had like 425-ish people at the regional, so that was considered top cut. But after that 2017 season was pretty dry, and then after like 2018 season came, I top aided my first ever like master regional again, and a new season like Charlotte regionals top aided, and then I top four my two other ones Madison Roanoke back to back, and
That's
then
awesome.
I top aided the Philly regionals in 2019, a top four at another one, top eight at another one, and then like I didn't have the best of finishes, but it was like still consistent enough at the point I feel like I was at a top level, very close to becoming like the like the top level of it. But after a while, I kind of got burnt out because like I was a high school student. I was studying maybe like 4 hours a day for like good grades, and at the same time, I had to play Pokemon. I also had a job back then, so I'm like, yikes, this is kind of stressing me out. So I after that, I kind of just quit in 2022 season.
Dude, I get that. That's a lot going on for a high school student too. And I want you
Yeah.
to know, like, let's say someone was doing what you did this season, they top eight, top four, top four, top eight. Like that would be one of the best players in the world by far. So yeah, like you were one of the best players in the world, in my opinion, right? Like there's no way you weren't back then. You top four back to back regionals. Like that's awesome. So that break must have been hard. And when you were on that break, did you take a complete break? Did you stop playing completely because of Dynamax? You said, like you didn't touch the game at all.
So I actually just refused to touch Dynamax formats. I only played some draft league stuff because my college has a Pokemon club, and I'm like, yo, I should check that out. And I've been playing in their doubles OU draft leagues time to time. I won two out of two so far, so I'm doing pretty good.
I'm
but
not
other than
surprised. Yeah, those
yeah,
kids
but
don't
other than
know those. Did they know who you are when you walk into that draft league? Do they know you're like a
no,
regional? No,
not
they don't
really.
know your success in the community. That's so funny.
They don't know. They don't know. But yeah, like Dynamax was not clicking with me. So like I went to one regional at Dallas, Texas 2020. I didn't have the best time ever mentally, so I ended up dropping out of the tournament and just like spending time by myself walking around like sightseeing, which was
Yeah,
a very refreshing experience rather than just like burning out from playing Pokemon over and over and over again. And after that regional, I took like a long break, just like focusing on the draft leagues, focusing on just like life stuff. And during the break, also, my family was setting up like a business in Texas area, so I had to go help that too. That's one of the reasons I didn't actually end up competing in the 2022 season, even when the events returned and stuff like that.
Yeah, the 2022 season was my first ever event in Indy. That was my
Hmm.
first ever. That was well, my first ever event was like a month before that, the X9 tournament, which is crazy. And then yeah,
Yeah, but
Indy.
the break was like kind of hard for me because I didn't really get to see any of my friends for a long time. And even if I could, I was like stuck helping family and stuff like that. Like talking with friends was very like fun, at least even if it's online. But it was not a good time for me, honestly. Like I really enjoyed a break mentally, just taking time away from Pokemon. However, like I just miss my friends a lot. And when I first came back to, I actually went to NAIC 2022 and
Oh,
I
nice.
actually noticed how much the community has changed. And then I'm like, damn, these past 2 to 3 years have been something I've been completely missing, and I need to like reform my like reform my character in the community rather than just like stay the same way of like just isolating. Because like I enjoy this community a lot, and I just kind of like became one of the forgotten people in the community because a lot of people ended up joining the VEC during COVID, and
Yeah,
like to a lot of people, I I was pretty much like a nobody, and I'm like, damn, it's probably just not a good feeling.
that is a weird feeling after everyone knows your name to leave and then come back and no one knows your name except for like a few
Yeah,
people, OGs,
yeah,
and then the
yeah.
OGs are pointed to the new people. They know like you don't know who that is.
Hmm.
Actually a very funny. Do you still talk to Velocity Grant Weldon a lot, dude? I love
Uh, s
I love when I get to play him in tournament. He kicks my
yeah,
ass sometimes. He knows his size
he's a
perfectly.
very amazing player. I don't
Yeah,
really like as much as I do like enjoy talking to Grant and stuff like that, I actually don't talk to that many VGC players outside of events, not gonna lie. Because I'm like in a spot where I want to focus on my RL stuff rather than VGC. So I keep some of the VGC friends close to me, like Justin, Yotam, like Jody, Courtney, people that I genuinely enjoy talking to. But it's kind of been hard to like reach out to other people that I knew before and stay as close to them as possible compared to like just like before because
yeah.
I have my RL stuff going on.
Life.
I have a job, other stuff going on. So it's like, damn, like I want to talk to more people. However, I have so much time restrained on my hand at the point I can't really respond to text or like talk to people that much lately. So it's like, damn, it's kind of a pain, but it's something I have to deal with anyway.
Oh, exactly, man. I was just asking because I remember you brought his name up twice, and I was thinking, like, you know what, dude, I love playing him in the online tournament. Like,
Mhm.
again, when I get a game off him, I'm like, all right, perfect. That means I'm doing well because he is a kick-ass player. I didn't realize he was
Yes.
that good. So, what was your first event back after your break?
Uh,
After
it
NAS.
was it was San Diego 2023. It's the
Really?
regional. Yeah, I actually ended up almost top cutting that event, but I ended up bubbling.
What was your placing?
I got 41st, and the reason I ended up bubbling was because all my in the last round, all my opponents lost.
Oh,
That's the reason I actually ended up bubbling, and I'm like, damn, that kind of sucks.
yeah. Was it a different system the first time you played, or was it still a resistance?
It's still resistance, but it was a 10 rounder instead of the 9 rounder plus day two.
I didn't realize it
Because
used to
like
be 10 round.
yeah, it used to be a 10 rounder right into top cut instead of a day two system.
Wow.
Like first few regionals, but like eventually they actually fixed the system where it is now like 9 rounder plus day two, 5 rounds, and then top cut.
Yeah, and I even think people argue for a sixth round in day two sometimes, depending on how many people are in it. You don't think so?
6 rounds, I feel like a little much. Like
Really?
by the time 6 rounds are over, I feel like it's gonna be like 1 o'clock, and by the time finals is over, if there's
Maybe
six
like
rounds, probably gonna
four.
be like 5 to 6 o'clock, which is not the most convenient time for a regional to end because that's when a lot of people's flights are. So it's like not fun.
You're absolutely right about that too.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then bro, San Diego was a lot of fun. Like
It
dipping
was.
your toes back in the water, did you feel that energy right away? Like, oh, I'm happy to be back competing.
Yeah, definitely. I was definitely out of shape for this regional, like San Diego. I was definitely playing suboptimally. I was making a lot of mistakes, but I was still having a very fun time. And
That's
going
awesome.
7-3 at my first ever regional back after not playing for 3 years still was something. Like I
Yeah.
was heavily underestimating myself. I was like, okay, if I go 5-5, I'll still be happy. But I went 7-3, so I'm like, yo, this is pretty chill.
Fuck yeah. Oh, that's awesome, actually. And how many events did you end up hitting last year?
I went to San Diego. I went to Knoxville. I went to Charlotte. I went to Hartford. I went to Milwaukee, and then Nats and World. So there's like 7 events total.
So, dude, leading up to Milwaukee, San Diego 7-3. You had good finishes at Charlotte too, or Hartford, right? Didn't you do
It
really
was
well?
Hartford, yeah.
Yeah, you.
During Charlotte I got food poisoning, so I ended up having to drop it 2-2.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that. 2-2
Yeah,
drop.
we don't. Yeah, Waffle House, don't eat that shit, bro. Don't trust Waffle House.
I actually went to the Waffle House for the first time ever when I was in Orlando.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, no, I went what's it called? What did I do? I went 5-5. I was using flip turn bundle with weak armor, weakness policy, armorage.
hmm
And yeah, no, I started 3-0, 3-0, and then I went 0-3. And then ended up finishing
Waffle
5-5.
House has cursed you, my dude.
You think I don't think so. I think it was a weak armor armorage that wasn't the best format.
No, no, no. It's Waffle House.
It was
Trust me.
Waffle House?
Waffle. Yeah, it's Waffle House.
Oh god. So how did you do at Knoxville, if you don't mind me asking? That was actually the first event I got championship points at. So I love that event. That was like a very close one in my heart.
I think I went day two, and I think I got like 41st again or something like that. I ended up dropping at like 9-5 because I
Okay.
wasn't satisfied with my score.
So then Hartford is the first time you were probably satisfied with your score walking out of a regional, other than San Diego, your first time back.
Bro, I
Hartford.
bubbled. I was not satisfied at all. I got nines, man. I was
Oh, you got
pissed.
ninth? Okay.
Yeah,
So that's why you came back with a vengeance for Milwaukee too. I didn't realize.
bro. Bro,
Yeah.
I was
Talk
talking
about
to
it.
Tyson like
Talk about it.
I was at Hartford. I was like, hey, this team is really good. I feel like if I end up top cutting, I can win this entire event. And you know what happens? So what happens is that my friends like Sidars and James faces last round. They're my resistances. And what happens is James dodges an icy win from Sidars, which pretty much gives him the eighth spot of the regional instead of ninth. So I'm like, damn, I got bubbled because of an
That
icy win
icy
miss.
wind miss knocked you out of cut.
Yes, the icy win miss knocked me out of cut. Yes, because if Sidars won, I would have been eighth. But because of James won off the icy win, I'm like, damn, bro.
Oh my god.
It
So
was
then,
by 0.02% resistance, by the way.
not that you remember.
I do remember.
No, I know. I'm saying that sarcastically.
Yeah,
Oh
it's my.
no, bro.
It was my villain arc at that point. I was like, no fucking way, man. No way that just happened to me.
So you walked into Milwaukee with Joker energy, with like,
Yeah, I got the Demon Time hoodie on, man. I got the black hoodie on. I was ready. I was like, if I get ninth again, I'm gonna retire.
you're like,
Yeah,
bro, I'm not walking out of here without a top cut. I'm walking out of here in the top eight or better. And you ended up
yeah,
walking out the winner.
and ended up winning and then getting my revenge on James, which was like really funny. And I'm like, the funny thing is that so James and I actually faced in day one Swiss, and what I exactly told him, he'll remember the same thing. This should have been finals, and you know what happens? We got the James versus me finals, which is crazy.
Dude, that's incredible. You guys spoke it into existence.
Yeah, we just manifested it.
Yeah. And then after Milwaukee, what did your attitude towards prep or anything change? Because now you have an invite to Worlds, so you could probably kind of take a little bit of a break at this point. Or for NAIC, what was your mentality going into NAIC, knowing you were already had the invite for Worlds? You were probably not in
uh,
contention for the day two race at that point, correct? Because it was
yeah,
really
no, but
hard content.
I was like high key expecting myself to do a lot better, and like because I'm just coming off of like a really big success. But the thing is like the problem was because I begin to gain a lot more like social attention than I expected after I won Milwaukee. And
Right.
at NAIC, it got a little overwhelming at the point I couldn't kind of handle it and just ended up like dropping out of the tournament after I got eliminated. So I'm like, damn, this is something I gotta figure out because like I tend to be very antisocial at events sometimes, like especially back then, like when people didn't know me too much. I was like fine with just being a gremlin in the corner. But because like people are coming up to like take pictures with me, sign their stuff, and I'm like so getting like a little bit like overstimulated, and I'm like, what
Yep.
the hell is going on right now, man? So like it took a little bit of time to figure it out, but it was fine after I figured it out. But it was still a hard thing at NAIC. I didn't really expect to deal with that issue so soon after like Milwaukee regionals, but yeah.
He was hot in the streets then.
Hmm?
He was hot in the streets. That's what
That's
happened.
true. Yeah, but I'm not. I didn't really accustomed to the socials like popularity too well. I'll not. I won't lie. At NAIC, but I did go out to party after, which is what matters the most to me. Because like I think like after event parties are probably the most fun things ever. Because I just enjoyed so much. Like not only the drinking, but it's just getting to talk to more people and know a lot of more people. I think I've got to know a lot of my old friends a lot more better off of the after like after event parties and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, that's so cool to hear. And yeah, you got a
Yeah,
good crew you roll with too. All the people you were naming earlier, a good solid crew. So that like, it's a fun crew to hang out with after events.
yeah.
So that's what matters. Oh wow. And so, dude, that's so cool. I still like congratulations for winning Milwaukee. And like
Thank
I'm
you.
rooting for you this season. How many events are you going to this season? Because a win gets you into worlds automatically instead of building the
Well,
championship point.
I'm actually not going to Worlds because like
You,
unless I
oh,
win a regional or like win nationals, I don't really see a reason for myself to go to Hawaii in general. Because like I've wasted a lot of money already going to Japan, not gonna lie. So I kind of need to like start rebuilding my bank and stuff like that, and like establishing myself more as a like a streamer character rather than just like a VGC player. I think because like as much as competing at Worlds is, I just don't see myself going to Hawaii, especially because of all the stuff that's happening currently.
yeah.
Unless I like win a regional or like win nationals and donate some of the money that I win from there for like their cause of like just like solving the problems going on there, I don't feel like I should be going to Hawaii in general.
And a lot of people share that opinion. I wish I had that. Like I didn't know how bad it was. I just was not planning on going because I made a full push for Japan. And
Hmm.
like, if you win a regional, we'll see you there. There's a good shot you win a regional if you go to one. I hope you realize that too. It's like you're
I
one of the
hope.
guys that shows up and like you immediately in a lot of people's minds have a chance to win. So that's cool.
Mhm.
How many events have you gone to this season so far?
I went to three. I went to Peoria, Pittsburgh, and Toronto. I got I got like 31st at Pittsburgh. I got like I went 6-3 at Peoria, so close to day twoing, and I got 21st at Toronto, which I bubbled, which was a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah. No, but that's still really good showing. And like again, that's a lot of regionals early on. So you're saying you're not going to many more. NAIC, I'll see you in New Orleans. I'm gonna be there
Of
too.
course.
That's one of the few I'm going to, and then I'm gonna try to hit up Orlando and LA. But what others are on your schedule right now?
I'm going to San Antonio because that's actually near where my house in Texas is. So
Let's
I'm gonna go
go.
there after my college finals is over and go over there. But after that, I'm probably going to go to Charlotte because a lot of my good friends are going. And after that, I don't know what comes after. Not gonna lie, it just depends on like what happens. Like if I end
Yeah,
up
how
top cutting more stuff, I'll probably end up going to some more events. If I don't, like
it'll
maybe I'll
pay
go
for
to
itself.
a few. Like it just depends on what's drivable and what's not.
Okay. No, that's really for me. I'm flying to Orlando and LA and New Orleans. So I'm
Mhm.
like, fucking, I'm flying the rest of the season.
Fuck it, we
But
ball.
yeah,
Fuck it,
that's
we
very
ball.
cool. Dude, I'm in New York. It's not there's no drivable regionals this season. Toronto, I guess, was one of them. It was like 9 hours. Pittsburgh was
Hmm.
7 hours. Orlando is 14.
What about Charlotte though? Charlotte's
10.
kind of close, right?
10 hour drive.
Oh, it's that bad. Jeez.
I drove it last year actually. Me and Luca Paz. That was a fun
Mm.
drive. But
Yeah, Luke is a very fun person.
I agree. Very quiet at first, but because me and him,
Mm.
like I first met him on that car ride. We were stuck in a car for 10 hours, just first time meeting. That was an
Hmm.
interesting way to get to know someone. But he's just so kind too, and he's a fun person to
Yeah,
be around.
yeah. The way I feel about Luca is that he's a very reserved person, but when he's in his zone, Like he just parties out because like I remember at Worlds, like Luca was like we went to the karaoke bar with everyone after going to the bar a little bit, and Luca was like coming along with us. And the karaoke bar is my first time seeing Luca like pop off like that because he was singing, he was going crazy. Like it was my first time seeing Luca just like be himself like that, and I enjoy like seeing a friend of mine just get to be himself in a, like such a rough crowd, you know, in a different country.
He was having a blast. I remember I left the bar early because I was just a sweaty mess. I was just like
Hmm.
I sweat like so much just sitting outdoor inside and then outdoor in the patio. I think I'm just gonna go back and shower and pack. 'Cause I had to be up at like 7 a.m. I should have planned that better because we were moving
Hmm.
hotels the night after that. I was like, I
Makes
think I'm calling that a night. I think I'm just gonna go back shower because it was so hot. Dude, I was sweating the entire time in Japan, but I had so much fun at the bar. And
I
then
mean, like
yeah,
we kind of like went to Japan at the worst time. I'm pretty sure there was like a heat wave going on too.
there was. And then we got stuck in a typhoon in Kyoto the 2 days after that. Me and
Oh,
my
oh
crew.
Lord,
Yeah, I was just like, oh
that
my
doesn't
god,
sound
what's
fun.
going on?
That
But
doesn't
no,
sound fun
Japan
at
was so
all.
much fun. How can we talk about your world's run actually? So how'd it go? Like
Uh,
what?
I went 3-3. I locked in a team that I was not comfortable with at all because like my building group was like, "Hey, let's run this team." I'm like, "Sure, why not?" Realistically, I should have ran the team I was originally supposed to run, but it's fine. I still had like a really good time there, like competing. Like
That's
not
good,
day twoing sucks, but like it's still like I still had a good time.
dude. Getting 3 wins at Worlds is incredibly hard. I got 2 wins, and I'm so proud of myself for that. Like it's not easy. It's not easy. So like getting 3 wins is something you should be proud of, even though it didn't go your way. You know?
I mean, like the thing for me is last time I went to Worlds, I got day two, so I had like a little bit of a high standard on myself before this. But I'm like,
Right.
damn, I guess this happens. Like I've seen a lot of people that are amazing players, like phenomenal, and not end up not doing the best. And I realized that I guess everyone has their own bad and good days, so I shouldn't
And
worry about it too much.
it's the biggest tournament of everyone here. You know, so
Hmm.
everyone's bringing their A plus 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 game. There's no easy. Everyone earned a spot at the table. There's no easy game. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
I sat down. What was it? Round 6 at a Torkel Oranguru mirror match, and we were both 2-4. And I was like, we really thought we made a good call, huh? Like it just
it,
happens sometimes. You know?
it just be like that sometimes.
Yeah, that's the way it goes,
Hmm.
dude. So that's actually something. How often do you lock into a team because the building group says so versus what your gut says? And how hard is that
Uh,
decision to make sometimes?
so this year, I kind of didn't really have the best track record with team building and stuff like that because like uh college has been kind of kicking my ass, not gonna lie.
Okay. So yeah, you got to
So
focus
it's
on
like
that more.
yeah, no, I've been focusing on college more than VGC itself. So I haven't really had the best track record with locking teams. But at the same time, that means if I can play this well, the last minute team, what would happen if I have a team that I'm like I worked on for a long time? You know what I mean?
And know the ins and outs of know every weird matchup, have the actual reps and practice
Hmm.
with.
Like when I was locking New Balance in for Milwaukee and Hartford, I know everything about the team in and out. So that's one of the reasons I was able to do so well with it. So as long as I can build and like pilot a team like that, that it feels like the it factor that I know the ins and outs of, I'm very comfortable that to say that I could probably win another regional if I can find something like that.
I think you can absolutely win another regional if you find something like that. You're one of the guys that can. You
Yeah,
know,
I definitely think so too.
there's not many people on this planet that could say that. So that's a really cool thing you've accomplished at such a young age
Yeah.
too. I hope you're very proud of that.
I mean, I am proud of winning a regional, but that's only making me feel greedier about like wanting to do more.
All right.
Like
No, we
a regional win isn't enough. I feel more hungry for more, you know?
dude, I can't even imagine being there as someone who walked into events trying to get points. Now, my
Mhm.
mentality shifted a little bit to thinking I'm better than I was when I was like walking into regionals before. Now, like Pittsburgh was my only regional this season, and April is going to be my next one. So I have a big
Yeah.
break. I have a big break where I'm just going to
A
go to
long
locals and
break.
have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a long time to figure everything out, so you're fine.
That's why I've been having fun testing dumb shit like this 222 Dozo size spam Lily Call.
Yeah, I heard about that. When you texted me about it, I'm like, oh god, what has he done?
I got what is it? I got second at the Long Island PC, 5 people with it, but it was just
Hmm.
2-1. But I top six. I got sixth place in Nino's LCQ on Friday night, and I got 14th in Nino's LCQ on what was it, Saturday night. I was like, wait,
Hmm.
this might be real, and that's why I brought it to the locals. I think I'm not testing it anymore. I think I might bring it to the Tuesday tour, then retire it. But it's
Hmm.
fun. What's your opinion on these 222 teams that have been popping up? I've been seeing you tweet. Your Twitter account's very funny, by the way. Like I don't
Thank you.
get most of it, but I think it's very funny whenever I see a random like tweet from you. I like
Hmm.
love it. I love it so much. But yeah, like can you
The
talk
what?
about different teams that
Let,
pique your interest?
let me show you my opinion on the 222 teams. Are you ready? Rock paper scissors shoot. Fuck! I lost. I lose. No.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
And it's so much different than the Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, Shenpao, Dragonite 222, I
Hmm.
feel too. Because I
It's
wasn't
extent. It's like very hard. It's harder to like prepare your matchup against it, because like realistically, what you could do is you could literally lead like either Armor's Dozo and just switch out to Indeedee and click Expanding Force, or like switch into your Tatsu and do stuff with Dozo, so, or like lead Lilligan Torkoal. So I'm like, wow, this is kind of lame, bro.
no, your tweet. I forget what you said about it, but it was like a binary 222.
Yeah,
I was laughing
let me
so
look
much.
for it again.
I was
Let me
laughing
look.
so much. I was like, dude, you clown. That's so funny. And then I was like, unironically using it at that point too, because I saw Golden Light using it at
Mhm.
World.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And
I was like,
not at
yikes,
Worlds in
dude.
Pittsburgh or Toronto, I think it was.
Hmm.
Oh God, I couldn't stop laughing. But what is the most meme team you think you've ever seen and that you've tweeted jokes about and gotten a response on Twitter with?
222. The
You think
original
so?
222. Yeah, that team is corny, dude. Like, I love the people who use it. Like, Rachel is a good friend of mine. Like, the other people, like, Nino is a good friend of mine. Hemi's a good friend of mine. But the team is so goofy, man. It's so silly, goofy.
I love it. I love it. It's so silly and goofy.
Yeah, it's like, damn, I led wrong. I lose. That's so lame.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, I read the turn one wrong on what they're gonna target this turn. Well, I guess I lose.
Yeah. No, exactly. And oh my God, that's what makes it so much fun to use though in Pilot. And then I feel like I know
Mhm.
Spam well, I know Lily Cole well, so I'm like, wait, I need to learn Dozo, and then it's just fun.
Yeah, look,
No, it
I
actually
like
is.
tried the team before on like showdown tours and stuff because I got bored in class. It's very fun to run, but I'd feel like a bad person if I ran it at events, bro. I just cannot imagine putting like using the team against someone and just having like the just like the audacity to look at my opponent and be like, GG's, shake my hand. You lost a lead? Yeah, good games.
Oh, I do it while I eat pizza at locals. I'm the worst player to play at a local because I'll be shoving my face high as a kite, just like hitting 222. Being like,
You're you're
what am I gonna do? Yeah.
you're so evil, my dude.
And then I always, if I make the room, I always put no music on, and that messes with people
Oh
more too.
no, Tom, you're the most evil person I've ever met my whole life. I hope you know that.
And I do it with a smile on my face.
You're evil. You're literally a like Disney villain character or some shit, bro. You are a Disney villain right
And
here.
I bring my
Whole ass
Armand
Disney villain.
slushies to the locals too. Put them on the desk.
Tom, at this point, I'm gonna change your phone contact like name into like a Disney villain ass name, bro.
Love it. Oh God. Dude, so like now that we're talking about meme teams a bit, I wanted to ask you. You sent me a really cool balance document that I thank you a lot for. I've been reading it before I go to sleep a bit.
Hmm.
And what is your favorite archetype to play? Is it more balance? I know that Chiyu balance stuff is what you won Milwaukee with, but like, is that your favorite archetype, or is there another type of teams that you gravitate towards? What is your favorite comfort zone?
Normally, when it comes to like usual formats, I preferred a lot of the balancey setup teams, like the SDR enhanced plus like Amumu support, with a little bit of hyper offense in the back. But I've been really liking the mode of just like hyper offense, throw everything on your opponent, and they just die. Like the Chin Pao D9 Rillaboom stuff, which is like really fun. I've been enjoying that a lot too. Like balance and like very strong offense has definitely been my favorite most to run so far.
Very strong up. Yeah, no, the Rillaboom Heat Ran's been picking up a lot since the Ogre Pawns went down. And that
Yeah,
combo's been a
Rillaboom
little
Heatran
bit
are strong.
been a
They're very.
tough combo for size spam. That's why I've had to adjust some things. Like you got me out here running focus points on Armorage.
Oh no! Don't do that. Just Aura Sphere or something instead.
Still run focus blast. I'm running the fighting Hydro Pump.
Oh no, he's running fighting Hydro Pump. That's more inaccurate than Hydro Pump.
Yeah. Oh, it is actually. It's not 80, it's
Yes.
70.
Yeah, focus is 70.
I don't think of it like a most though. But dude, that's really interesting to hear that that's your like right now Chen Pao, Dragonite, Rillaboom. Because it's so good into the metagame right now. Why do you think
Yeah,
Ogerpon went away as quickly as it did? Because I felt like it was everywhere, now it's not. And it happened
I
very
think
fast.
people I think people adjusted to it way too well because of like how good it's been. I think it's still a really good Pokemon, but not as good as like Fluttermane Lando, like Urshifu and stuff like that. Like if you look at every team ever, like you have an Urshifu, probably you have an Urshifu Tornadus. Like Tornadus is probably one of the reasons like Overpon's descent probably begin with, because like if you have like Urshifu and Overpon or Urshifu and Tornadus in the field, even if you lead or like have Overpon in the back, you can always just go for like the Surging Strikes and Bleakwind Storm. And like if Overpon like gets hit or like comes in at the wrong time, that mon's already done. Like it's the water form is already done. The fire form gets like really just like obliterated by the Terra Water Surging Strikes and stuff like that. Like I think the power creep in this meta is like really strong. At the point it doesn't really give Overpon up room to breathe too much. I think that's why.
Huh.
Yeah,
And it
like
just
Overpun
yeah,
is strong.
it happened so fast. And like I was just
Hmm.
like, whoa. I loved Ogerpon. I loved seeing it. It was bad in Trick Room. It wasn't a Heat Ran. It took away from the Heat Ran, the Chi-Yu. It took away from the Rillaboom, Amoonguses. So it like took
Hmm.
away a lot of my bad matchups immediately.
Hmm. But like, I don't know. Like the way I see Overpon is that it was a very strong Pokemon, but people just adjusted to it way too fast. You can't just lead it and just spam strong attacks anymore. I think you have to now build a team around it rather than just like slapping it on a team and saying it's gonna work out. Because it's just like a good mon, but it's not as good as like Lando T or Shifu and stuff like that.
Huh. And Lando T is definitely more slappable than Ogre.
Yeah, no,
It's
you can
actually
slap it on any team and be like, "Oh, I'm a U-turn bot. Oh, I can Terra Blast and KO every monster on the field and everything like that."
have you seen the so I've been seeing more jollies recently, which has been crazy to me over
Hmm.
adamant. Has that been something popping up everywhere? Or is that just like low ladder stuff?
So I think it is definitely something that's been popping up a bit because one of my friends, Luca Treshgood, I think that's how I say his name. I kind of
Mr.
forgot the
King Gambit is
pronunciation,
what I
but
call him.
yeah, Mr. King Gambit King,
Yeah.
actually ended up getting second at Peoria with Jolly Scarf Lando with 150 speed, just to outspeed the adamant Scarf Shifus, and like win the mirror match against opposing landers. It's like that.
Oh.
So yeah, I think that's a big reason on why a lot of the choice scarf Shifus these days are going jolly to outspeed the choice scarf Lando.
Because for a while, my choice scarf Urshifu at Adamant was outspeeding everything, and now I have had to change that a lot when I'm testing out. Like,
Mhm.
wait,
Yeah,
I need to go Jolly now, which has been crazy. I'm actually
a lot
testing
of
out a new.
people. Yeah, a lot of people end up going jolly these days with 158 speed. Because that's like exactly one speed over Landers' max speed, which is 157. So
Yeah,
when they have choice scarf, they can outspeed the scarf Lando. Yeah.
dude, it's so cool to see how these little changes adapt over the course of a meta. And I've
Yeah.
liked that Regulation E has had more time to breathe because it's not over until January. Reg F
No,
doesn't
it's
start till January, right?
we still have a long time until the meta changes completely. I'm excited for what the meta brings us. Like currently, like Goldango used to be really broken, and it's not as flappable anymore. Like there's been a lot more rising gold angle hate. So like the
Yeah.
format's been changing a lot more around like hating special attackers now instead of physical attackers. So I think the rise of like Chen Pao D9 might be real again and King Gambit and other stuff like that.
But that's good because I've also been seeing more Roaring Moon. I feel like that has
Yeah.
a good matchup into Roaring Moon.
Yeah, and Roaring Moon is like really strong. It's one of the ways of suppressing like physical attackers because like the support set with breaking swipe, knockoff, tail and protect is very fast, very like strong because knockoff is a broken move and does a lot of good things. So I feel like it's also a very strong Pokemon.
Yeah. No, I've been seeing it a lot more on low. Again, I like to make new accounts, bring them up to 1500, and then make new
Mm-hmm.
account, bring it up to 1500. That's usually my showdown practice, other than the limitless tours and private best of threes. And in the low ladder, I've been seeing a lot more Roaring Moon. Like, holy, this thing's popping up everywhere.
Roaring Moon's really strong after it got knockoff, man. It's been incredible.
Yeah, no, that's been the main move. And then I've been seeing some drop acrobatics for like a breaking swipe or something, which helps the Dozo
Yeah,
matchup.
yeah, it completely solves the Dozo matchup. It can just bring it to -6 and not care about it.
Knock off the clear amulet if they have it, and then just go
Mhm.
into town.
You can knock off the choice items. You can knock off leftovers. You can knock off like anything. Like knockoff is a broken move.
I'm surprised we haven't been seeing it more on Rillaboom because it does get access to it too.
I feel like it needs to fake out Woodhammer Grassy Glide combo and choose, and the only choice you have is between U-turn and high horsepower.
Yeah,
Because as
or
knockoff
protect.
is yeah, or protect, but like as knockoff is good, I feel like it's only good on significant Pokemon like Roaring Moon, which gets stab, power boost, and everything. But Rillaboom's like knockoff is like good, but I feel like it's not enough to drop like U-turn or high horsepower, which is infinitely better than knockoff on this slot.
You just need them. You just need them.
Yeah, you need the high horsepower and U-turn like really bad. You can either give like a switch initiative and bring it on later, or you have a way to deal with Heat Train and Forces of Terra, which is really important. So yeah.
Huh. No, you got my brain thinking now too. You got my brain turning now. I love talking this game with you, man. I would love to make more time for this too. But we're just approaching the hour mark now. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
I think the one thing I do want to touch on is that I think people, when it comes to this game, doesn't practice correctly. I think playing on Showdown, like best of three ladder, again and again, is not really the best like way to approach this game. Practicing because that's I know what a lot of my friends actually do. However, if you actually end up setting like a document and like flowchart the matchups instead of like laddering endlessly over and over and over again, I feel like that's a lot more valid practice on figuring out lines and like flowchart and stuff like that instead of just like
Theory
going on
crafting.
autopilot. Yeah, theory crafting. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I've seen a lot of my like the ex like students that I coached when I was coaching, and a lot more like my friends do that. And I think it's just like a very inefficient way of practicing. I think flowcharting, figuring out how the team works, and like just like having lines into everything, and just like best of three the matchups to make sure you got everything covered, or at least have an out to some bad matchups too, is probably the best way to practice instead of
That's what
just like best of three letter.
that's what me and my friend Katori were doing last season. That's
Hmm.
exactly we would just all right. What's giving us problems? Let's practice this matchup. How do we beat this matchup with our team currently? We have to change anything. I think we're good in
Hmm.
these matchups. If we do change something, how does it affect the prior matchup? Like going over your lines of specific teams that you know are popular is harder in the early formats. And now it's easier since the meta is developing a bit. So you do see these teams that like Rinya's built. So you do see these teams that like, you're showing up with the events and then people are taking Chupa's teams
Hmm.
that, he's pulling up to with events and now people are taking everywhere too. And
Yeah,
yeah, no, flow charting matchups into those teams is so important. And that's actually one of the things that's hurt me the most with Psy Spam is people will flow chart into Sunroom with Psy Spam. And they're like,
yeah,
no, I practiced into this a lot because it's one of the more like unique teams that people know they might see. And that's been
yeah.
like if you
No,
bring a Chen Pao Dragonite team, you might have that issue too. But you can play your different people. I'm sorry to interrupt. What were you
mhm.
saying?
No, like remember at Beast Coast when we were facing round one at day two,
Yeah.
and I actually practiced a matchup in my head like on the way to the venue because was like a 35-minute ride, and I just like cycled it over and over in my head and
because there
on
was a
what I could
solid
do.
chance we were playing.
Yeah, because I knew we were definitely playing no matter what. Because I was X1 and you face everyone else that is X1. So I was like, okay, you
Yep,
figure this out. And I just like ran a simulation in my head on how leads would go, like possibility of every lead possible and what I could lead better and stuff like that. So yeah, it just like happens like when you practice like a lot into certain matchups.
yeah,
But like as the format centralizes more and you know what to counter, you just get to like figure things out and just have a very efficient practice method.
exactly. And it becomes easier and easier to identify. Like that New Balance GU team that was going around. Actually,
Mhm.
that's the reason I ended up dropping Heart. I dropped Iron Hands for Hariyama because I was like, wait,
Mhm.
I think I need Wide Guard next to a Ranguru, and then I could Terra Rock Rock Slide, and I just win if they lead GU Flutter. And like it literally changed my matchup into that without ruining any of the other matchups because then the Guts boosted up close combats actually did more than Iron Hands. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Oh, okay. And like just I would have never got there without like that theory crafting and going through flowcharts and being like, all right, does this sacrifice any of my other matchups? Wait, it doesn't. I can add this and go over and add. Now this team that I was super weak to becomes a team that I kind of want to see. This team
Yeah.
that out of nowhere was a bad matchup. I work on it a couple of times, a couple of times, a couple of times. I change one or two things on my team. It doesn't have to be as drastic as changing them on. You could be changing a move or an item, a terror type, and it changes the entire way your team performs into that other. So I couldn't agree more with flowcharting matchups over just spamming ladder. And actually, that's one of the things. I think I got a ladder more, but I try to do the three ladder. You know, like actually, my friend said three ladder games a day. I don't even do that.
Mhm.
I do like tournaments. I go by weekly tournaments. I go by like, all right, I did like 8 to 10 best of threes this week. I think that's good
Yeah.
enough for me. You know,
Well, I
I
saw you're hosting a tour later tonight too, right?
it's Tuesday, every Tuesday till the end of time. No, probably
Tell me
not till the end of
Tuesday.
time. Yeah. What's it called? And now every Tuesday winner is getting an invite to the Nino Invitational, the Poke Bros Invitational. Because I'm a Poke
Mhm.
Bro too. Like I'm so
Yeah.
proud to be a Poke Bro. Shout out Nino. But
Shout out
that
to you.
84-year-old grandpa. But yeah, no, what's it called? Now the Invitational, every Tuesday tournament's gonna give an invite. Like that's something I'm super proud of. Super proud.
I might definitely check it out eventually, depending on how I feel like during Tuesdays, because I have class on Tuesdays, but I'm not really sure how I'm gonna feel after it. So like, let's see how it goes.
Exactly. And that's one of the things, speaking of practice, consistent best of threes outside my little testing group. Because I have my little
Mhm.
testing group of like Katori, Darsh, Jin Fury, and like I like those, you know, like that's my little insert. I'm always talking to those guys, or like Bruno as well. So like whenever I'm talking to those guys, it's like, all right, they know me so well. Testing with them sometimes isn't the best practice. Where testing outside the group helps me a lot too to see what other people are doing too, and
Yeah,
sometimes go
no,
back
like
and theory craft with a friend.
when you're like team building partners know your habits, they can play like very efficiently versus you. So it's better to fight outside like a completely inexperienced box of like people that you know like don't know who like how you play and stuff like that.
And that's been a gift and the curse with the Tuesday tours because it's the same people playing. So if I play the same person a couple of times, they're like, "Oh, I know what Tommy
Mm-hmm.
likes to do."
Silly Tommy.
But yeah, man, I think we're just at that hour mark now. If there's anything else you want to touch on other than the practice methods, is there anything else you want to touch on about that? 'Cause that's a really good tidbit to leave us on too. I appreciate that greatly.
You're welcome. I think that's about it. Like I don't really know anything else I could touch up on. I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to.
And dude, thank you for your time more than anything. This was a blast talking.
No worries. Like I'm down to do it anytime. Like if you want to invite me to your podcast or like do another Tommy interview thing eventually when I talk at another event or whatever.
Oh, yeah, dude, that'd be awesome. That'd be incredible, actually. You know what? So guarantee, next time you talk about an
Mhm.
event, I'll have you on one of my. Wait, do you have? What are you doing the rest of the day?
Uh, Today
Yeah.
probably just like working out and like doing homework.
Okay. No, I just texted Conk and Dave a lot. Now I'm like, this might be. I don't know. Actually, this might be mean of me to them and to you without either asking either one of you. I'm like, oh, do we got time to get Brian Youm on? Is it too late? So if you want to come on the
Mhm.
Chilling Nay, I'm recording that at like 3:30. Let me shoot it out to those guys. See if we could add that too. And then I'd love to
uh,
have you on that. Maybe not tonight because It'll work
Yeah,
out.
not
We've been on for an hour. We've been talking for an hour. So yeah,
yeah, like I have to do some homework. I'm wrapping up my finals right now, so probably preferably not today, but like
yeah,
maybe
go
next week or eventually I'm down for it.
done and done. But I think I'm gonna stop the recording here. And again, thank you so much
All
for
right.
your time. And
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me today, man.
yeah, and everyone who listened this far, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
Bye bye.